Hello, welcome to the Aquarian Mind Podcast. Today's podcast episode number 353. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Wednesday Motivation and Inspiration. Today we're talking about that voice of doubt, aka fear of failure. So it's going to be a good one today, so let's get into it. Now, you're starting to question whether you should keep going in whatever you're doing or whatever you love or whatever you're pursuing in your life, right? And I know exactly what the issue is. It's your fear of failure. And I get it. I totally understand what you're feeling and going through. You do know that some of the most successful people in life have failed quite a few times. And when you hear of people's stories, you'll start to feel better about yourself. Trust me. Who's someone that you look up to? Who motivates and inspires you to be great? Do you have that person in your mind? Great. Now, have you heard of their life story for them to get to where they are? If you haven't, you should look into it and see what they've been through in their lives. It's important to know that the voice in your head is playing tricks on you. It's messing with you to test you if you're going to stop what you're passionate for. If you're going to go back to the life of mediocrity and settle for less than what you deserve. That's not going to be you. Because I'm not going to allow it to happen. I've been through it where I've questioned whether I'm a good enough writer to make it in this space. But then I hear people tell me how great of a writer I am, or I get book reviews on my books, and it makes me feel better about myself. Sometimes we need a boost of confidence from someone to keep going. That voice is going to come around from time to time. Not all the time, but keep in mind that it's going to be there. We all have insecurities. That's part of life. We all have imposter syndrome, and we question ourselves at times. And we're all guilty of it, along with comparing ourselves to others, and we need to break out of that. Now, it's not easy at all, especially when we've experienced so much in our lives. We have people in our inner circle, from parents to friends, coworkers, or acquaintances, who really don't believe in us. And that's okay. That's totally fine. There are billions of people in the world who you can and will get support from. That voice of doubt should keep you going to prove yourself right, that you're on the right path, and this is the journey you're supposed to be on. Confidence is huge in all that we do. No matter what it is, you need it to succeed in life. The amount of things I didn't think I could do, and well, guess what? Here I am. I didn't think I'd be writing blogs about my journey and my life, my experiences to help others. And I'm in year 4 of writing blogs and doing a podcast because I feel good about what I talk about and what I write. So what I'm trying to really say is whatever you love, go for it. Do it. Do it for a while and see if you're making progress. See if you're really loving it as much. Now, we all don't necessarily have one specific thing that we're great at. The reality of it is the majority of us are great at like 2 to 3 really solid things, right? Whether it's writing, whether it's creating, whether it's art, public speaking, whatever it is. And you never know where your journey is going to go. A prime example of this is a motivational speaker. His name is Inky Johnson. And he's one of the best motivational speakers, I would say, that I've come across, right? And he's a guy who grew up in the inner city, lived in a 2-bedroom house with 11 family members, and, he was a great athlete. And he got a scholarship to college, played for Tennessee. And he was getting scouted by the NFL. in one game changed his whole life. Took a hit, and now he doesn't have use of one arm. And it was in that moment, he said, that he had to figure out what was next for him in life and what his path was supposed to be. And he's doing very well in life, right? Not to say that he doesn't deal with stresses and doesn't deal with certain struggles, but he found his niche, right? He became a motivational speaker, and he travels all over the world, from colleges to corporate companies, to sports teams, all types of places that he goes to. He's a married man, and he has a son and a daughter, right? And he's doing great for himself. And what I'm trying to say is to not let that voice of doubt in your mind defeat you. You control what you think, you control what you feel, and you control what you do, right? Because you're in control of your own destiny. And yeah, it took him some time to figure out what he was supposed to do. And he didn't feel like he was a failure because he didn't make it to the NFL. But the NFL wasn't where he was supposed to go. Another person, and I will say he's someone that I went to school with. His name is Kenny. And we went to elementary school together. We went to middle school together. And we went to college together for 1 year. So his story is he was always one of the taller kids from elementary school and middle school. He was already 6'2" by the time he was in 6th grade. The majority of my friends were very big, like in elementary school and middle school, for good measure. Another friend, Farhad, was about 6'4", I think, by the time he hit middle school. And then there was another kid, Ian, who was like already 6'6" by the time we got into middle school. Now, Farhad and Ian had their early growth spurts and didn't grow much after that. So, point is that Kenny grew to 6'9". So, he was a great basketball player. He was left-handed, so he was, let's just say, a little bit more of a slower version of Derek Coleman. If you guys are basketball fans and you guys know who Derek Coleman is, you guys know. Anyway, his path led him to Paul Robeson High School, which was a very known New York City high school for basketball in Brooklyn. And he got a lot of awards, notoriety, things of that nature. But he ended up at Hofstra. He had some other offers, DePaul and I think some other schools. Stayed home, went to Hofstra, and then transferred out after his junior year. And his senior year, he sat out at my school, which is University of Hartford, and then he played his last year of eligibility. By that point, I had already graduated. I was already gone. And he had goals and aspirations to make it to the NBA. And he came very close, quite a few times. He played on a summer league basketball team with Kevin Durant on the Seattle Supersonics. And that's before the Seattle Supersonics moved to Oklahoma City, which is now the Oklahoma City Thunder. So he didn't let anything in his mind deter him from getting to where he wanted to get. He came very close. Now, was the NBA for him? No, it didn't unfortunately happen. But did he have a great career overseas? Yes, he did. He played in quite a few countries, and he did very well for himself. So he didn't let anything doubt him, slow him down, or anything like that. He didn't let too much negativity get in his head. He always had the right people around him that were going to push him to make sure that he was going to get to where he was supposed to get. So what I'm saying is is life is going to hit you in the chest every once in a while. And yeah, you're going to fall on the ground, but it's a matter of whether you're going to get up and keep going. I am getting close to my goal of 60 books. And coming up on Book Insight Friday, I will be talking about my next book that will be getting published very soon. And that will be book number 58. So I never let that voice in my head stop me. I never let other people around me that didn't support me or didn't see the potential in me to get to where I wanted to be. That's okay. So what I want you to do after you listen to this podcast is think to yourself, what are my fears and why am I worried about other people judging me for my failures? I've failed plenty of times. I've made plenty of bad investments that didn't work out in order to promote myself and promote my books and to get my website noticed and all of these things that I tried to do. And I'm okay with that. That's the beauty of life. The money will come back at some point. That's all I can do, right? All right, everyone. That's my podcast for today. I thank you for listening as always. Book Insight Friday is going to be a little different this week. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Be good and go accomplish your goals.